Hello, I'm Alex and I'm 39 years old. 22 years ago, I resided in the countryside with my parents, who still inhabit the area. Currently, I live in the city and am married. During that time, after finishing school, I spent most of my afternoons playing games until around 3 or 4 o'clock. However, I would assist my father with farm work when it was time to separate the cows, alternating between play and duties. As we had no neighbors in the vicinity, I would spend time with my friends who lived close to my home. We would make plans to meet up after lunch, often sharing meals at each other's homes. I have fond memories of this period, but there is also a troubling incident that I recall. I arranged to meet my friends at a specific location on the road after lunch. As the combi passed by on its way back to school, I pointed out the meeting spot. However, one of my friends refused to go, citing fear as the reason. The others teased him and urged him to overcome his fear. At the time, I didn't fully comprehend the situation and, as it was nearly time to leave, I didn't inquire further and eventually forgot about it. After finishing my meal, I made my way to the agreed-upon meeting spot with my friends. I arrived first and leaned against a high ravine that was approximately 2 meters tall and located by the side of the road. As I waited, I heard a girl's voice call out to me, saying, "Hey boy, up here." I looked up to see a girl wearing a light pink dress, who appeared to be a bit younger than me, smiling at me from the top of the ravine. The girl invited me to climb up and play with her. Confused, I asked what was going on, and she responded by telling me that she was digging a hole and needed assistance finding a treasure that was located there. She asked me to join her in the hunt, and I thought it sounded like an amusing joke. As I began to climb the bank, the girl's joy seemed to intensify. However, before I could reach the top, my friends arrived and called out my name from a nearby bend in the road. I urged them to join me in climbing up to play with the girl. As soon as my friends arrived, they questioned why there was no girl at the top of the ravine. Upon looking up, I noticed that the girl had vanished. A feeling of intense fear overwhelmed me, and I trembled with dread. I quickly made my way down the bank, my face pale. My friends then ridiculed me, jokingly saying, "It seems like you saw a ghost. It must have been the ghost of the girl in the ravine." They all burst out laughing. Pretending to laugh along, I asked who the girl in the ravine was. One of my friends informed me that his father used to play there and that there was a legend about a girl who appeared on the ravine, asking people to play with her and help her cover a hole. She claimed that there was treasure buried there, but in reality, her true intention was to dig the hole deep enough to trap and bury anyone who played with her. Despite his explanation, I suspected that he was simply trying to scare us off from playing in that area again. I attempted to brush off what had occurred and suggested that we find somewhere else to play. My heart was still racing with fear. My friends agreed, and they ran ahead, disappearing around the bend in the road. As I reached into my pocket, I realized that the key to the gate padlock, which I needed to open to separate the cows, was missing. When I looked down into the ravine, the sunlight reflected off of the key chain that was lying there. Upon realizing that the key was in the middle of the ravine, fear gripped me once again. However, I knew I needed to retrieve the key, so I mustered up the courage to climb up and retrieve it. As I was climbing, I began to hear a girl's cries, and when I looked up, I saw her standing there, facing me. Though she appeared sad and begged for my help to find the treasure, I couldn't ignore the fact that she was a ghost. Nevertheless, I decided to help her find the treasure so she would leave me alone. I finished climbing the ravine and started digging, but it was too difficult for me. The girl then offered to help, and I was surprised when the earth began to move as if boiling water. However, the girl quickly grew tired and said that was all she could do. Though there was no dark magic involved, the earth had become softer and I was able to dig with my hands. After my parents and the workers arrived at the site and dug up the bones, the police were called. They arrived shortly after and questioned us about what had happened. My friends and I were terrified, but we told them everything. The police investigated further and found out that Rosanna had gone missing years ago and no one had ever found her body. The police conducted a full investigation and eventually arrested a suspect. It turned out that he had killed Rosanna and buried her in the ravine. I was hailed as a hero for helping to uncover the truth and bring justice to Rosanna and her family. After that day, I never saw the girl again, and the ravine was fenced off to prevent any accidents. It was a harrowing experience that left a lasting impression on me. I never forgot the girl's whisper of thanks, and it made me realize that sometimes the most unexpected things can happen in life. Rosanna was a 6-year-old girl, the daughter of a single mother who was not known for her morality. She had fallen in love with a farmhand and wanted to leave the city with him, but Rosanna was a problem. One day, the woman passed through town without her daughter and claimed that she had given the girl to a family in the city who adopted her. However, nothing was ever heard from little Rosanna again. The community was desperate to find her, and many suspected that her mother had murdered her. Regardless of the truth of Rosanna's disappearance, what was certain was that the girl in the ravine was real and was searching for her treasure, her bones.